Hi guys, welcome to episode 2 of Starting E-commerce, and today we're going to be talking about inventory management. So guys, inventory management, probably not the most exciting subject in the world, but probably the second most important part of e-commerce other than actually generating sales. I've broken down today's episode into 5 parts, and the first part is the SKU or SKU, as some people call it. So what is an SKU? If you look on Google, the definition will tell you stock keeping units, but in layman's term, it is a label or ID for that item. Now, if you're an Amazon seller, you've probably already seen this field in Amazon, and on eBay, they use the custom label field. Now, it's very, very important you don't just whack a load of numbers in there, or your product supplier's code in there, or the barcode. You really want to think about how you structure your SKUs. And I'm going to show you by using this example. Now, this format I'm going to show you may not work for your business, but the concept will. So you'll see 2 examples here. The first one is a set of card sleeves in a silver design for Acme Co. And we've set up the SKU to be AC-CS-140, AC for the supplier, Acme Co. CS for the category of the item, the card sleeve, and 140 for the design. That's a very, very simple SKU model there. Underneath, we've got something a little bit more complex, as you can see. And this is an extra large red man's shirt by Acme Co. And you can see the same sort of concept here. AC for the supplier, MS for the category, men's shirt, XL for the size, and red for the colour. Now, it's very important really to have a system or structure of your SKUs in place and keep the length similar. It's going to help you for data sorting, and when you start selling on multiple websites, marketplaces, channels, it's going to be a lot easier to collate these listings together by having the same SKUs, or the SKU as similar as it can be on these different marketplaces. The second thing we're going to talk about is product identifiers and item specifics. So a product identifier is something like a barcode, like an EAN if you're in Europe, or UPC if you're in America, or it can even be an MPN, which is a manufacturer's part number. Most marketplaces are leaning towards this becoming mandatory. It's already sort of semi-mandatory on Amazon, unless you're brand registered. eBay is aiming to make the product identifiers mandatory in summer 2017. Item specifics are attributes for the products. So if I was selling clothes, for example, this would be material, colour, size. If it was a toy, I'd be saying if it's got batteries included, the age range for a child, if it's from ages 5 upwards. And these are very important, not just because it gives the actual buyer some more information on eBay when you've got the specific box above your description, or on Amazon you have the specification area, but also as the way the internet's going now with more voice search and stuff like Google Shopping being into play, these companies are focusing more on these item specifics to give better search results. Plus, if you look on the side on Amazon, for example, and you see the filters on the left-hand side, if you start selecting those down and you haven't put those item specifics in, guess what? Your items aren't going to show. Third on our list is picking locations. Now, if you're starting to sell online, you're probably just printing out your orders in sort of date order. Now, this is okay as you start out, but as you're going to start getting bigger, you're going to want to make your whole process more efficient. So basically, a picking location is a label for an area in your warehouse, or it can even be your sort of home or your garage or conservatory if you're just starting out, of where that item will be. So if you look at my simple diagram here, where I've got 4 lines of racking, each rack will be allocated a letter. Then each shelf will be allocated a number. And then each segment or picking location will have another letter for that specific area. And then what I'll do is I'll allocate that picking location to the item there. It means I can actually pick my product in sort of location order to optimize my sort of time in the warehouse. There's a few good tips that you can use as well for using picking locations to really sort of make your operation as slick and as efficient as possible. The first thing is you want to keep your picking locations very simple, the actual label itself. 3 digits should do for most warehouses and businesses. A letter for the row of racking, a number for the shelf, and then another digit for the actual area or picking box. You want to also move fast moving products to the locations in your warehouse that are close to your packing station. This means as a picker, you don't have to walk to the other end of the warehouse to pick those items, as you can just go pick items very close to where you're going to pack them. It's going to save you time and make the whole process as efficient as possible. Lastly, print a pick list that is done by item quantity order. So you go pick the items that you need, the highest quantity first, and descend downwards. Fourth on our list is types of fulfillment, and there's loads of different ways you can fulfill your orders. I'm going to talk about a couple today, and the first one I'm going to talk about is merchant fulfilled or self-fulfilled orders. This is where you pretty much get the item, or you store the item in your location, and you pick and pack and then ship that item to the customer. The pros are that you get to control that order from when it comes in, how you pick it, how you pack it, and who you ship it with, and how efficient that journey is. You have 100% control of that. Cons are is you're either going to have to pick the orders yourself and pack them, or hire someone to do that. You probably, as you grow, you're going to have to invest in space and buy in stock. And if you're an Amazon seller and you haven't been invited to be part of the Seller Fulfilled Prime program, then your items aren't going to be eligible for those Prime users to buy. Another type of fulfillment is using a third-party fulfillment center. And these are great for people that don't want to have their own warehouse or haven't got time to pick and pack their own orders. You get your stock, you send it to this company's warehouse, they'll charge you for storing the item, picking the item and shipping it, but you don't have to worry about that whole process. Another type of fulfillment is drop shipping, and this is where you work very closely with your supplier. You list their products onto the marketplaces, the orders come into you, you send to your supplier, and they actually ship those products directly to your customers. The pros are you don't need to buy tons of stock. You don't have to worry about overheads such as warehouse or employing staff to pick and pack those orders. The cons are there's probably a lot of people doing it if you're doing it. The margins are going to be tighter, and you've got to rely on that supplier being good at distributing products. Because remember, it's your reputation on the line. Another type of fulfillment is FBA, or Fulfillment by Amazon. And in a nutshell, this is actually just a third-party fulfillment center, but it does have unique pros compared to a standard third-party fulfillment center. If you're selling on Amazon, Prime customers are going to be eligible to get your products next day for free. That's a big win. It has been known to help you get the buy box on the listing. And something that a lot of people still don't know is you can send your eBay and website orders directly to, yes, Amazon FBA, and they will fulfill them for you. Cons is that you're then relying on Amazon for your business. And if you move your whole stock to Amazon, then pretty much Amazon has control of that half of your business. Another type of fulfillment which takes the best of the self-fulfilled model and the dropshipping model is the just-in-time fulfillment model, or JIT, as you may see in Google. Basically, just-in-time means you list the products and then you buy from your supplier as the orders come in. The supplier will then send the stock, ideally next day delivery, to you so you can then pack and process those goods. Again, the pros are low overheads, you don't need to order lots of stock. Cons is you've got to really have a good relationship with that supplier and be 100% sure that their stock levels they're sending you are accurate. Fifth on our list is stock control. Now, if you're just starting to sell online, you're probably thinking, hey, look, all my stock's in Amazon or all my stock's in eBay. If I sell one, I can see what I've sold. But what about those freebies you gave to your friends, or that damage or resend you done? Did you record that anywhere? This is going to be so important as you grow. The worst thing you can do as an online seller is not fulfill an order. If you oversell, it's just bad news for everyone. Now, there is ways you can get around that, but it's not a long-term solution. Sure, you can tell Amazon that you've shipped the items and try and get your supplier to get you the products soon, but guess what? That model isn't going to be viable as you get bigger. As you sell more, as you start employing staff, as you start getting a warehouse, that Amazon account or that eBay account will become so much more important to you, and keeping your account metrics tip-top are going to be key for a successful business. So if I was you, I would create a spreadsheet with all my products on with an accurate stock level. Anytime I do a resend, exchange, a return, for example, or if something gets damaged, just from the warehouse, or I give a freebie out to a customer competition, mark that down, keep accurate stock levels, or even get a software that can actually do this for you. You want to update stock levels regularly. You want to keep this file up to date, because like I said, when you start going from one marketplace to your second marketplace to your third marketplace, it's going to be hard to keep track of these stock levels on these channels. The best way to keep stock updated is to run stock takes. Now, I know that's going to take time, but what I would suggest to you, if you're using picking locations too, is break it down into segments. So you could say, hey, let's do row A, count that this week. Next week, row B, third week, row C, then row D. This way, you're going to have a rotating stock take, and your stock levels are going to be pretty much accurate. So I appreciate you watching this video. I know it's not the most exciting area to talk about, but like I mentioned, it's definitely one of the most important. And by actually getting this sorted earlier on in your online business, it's going to save you so much time and heartache in the future. I have heard so many horror stories of companies sort of 2-3 years old expanding, and they haven't got SKUs in place, and telling them to do a spreadsheet of 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 lines and sort out all their SKUs on all these different marketplaces. It's just a lot of hard work when you don't have a lot of time already. So if you're a new online seller, please fire your questions below. I'd love to answer them. And if you're already selling online and you've faced some of these pain points before, or you've got some actual suggestions to these new starters, jump in too. Anyway, good luck with your online business, and we'll speak soon. Take care.